Timeline of Nintendo Research and Development 1 and 4. Nintendo's Research and Development 1, R&D1, was one of the company's primary development teams. Founded in the 1970s, it was responsible for some of Nintendo's earliest and most iconic games, shaping both the company's approach to game development and the video game industry at large. Here's an overview of the key milestones in the timeline of Nintendo R&D1. Early days, 1970. R&D1 was formed under the leadership of Gunpei Yokoi. The team initially focused on developing toys and novelty products, like the Ultra Hand, which was a commercial success and marked Nintendo's first steps into consumer entertainment. 1974, Nintendo began experimenting with early electronic games, taking inspiration from arcade machines and handheld calculators. This led to the foundation for future electronic gaming devices. Game Watch era, 1980. 1951,980. R&D1 developed the Game Watch series, a groundbreaking line of handheld electronic games that introduced the concept of portable gaming. Each device included a single game and a watch feature. This success further pushed Nintendo towards video game hardware. 1981, R&D1 released the Donkey Kong Game Watch. Although Donkey Kong was originally developed by Shigeru Miyamoto, not an R&D1 member, the Game Watch version contributed to the brand's popularity. 1982. The Game Watch multi-screen series was introduced, which later inspired the design of the Nintendo DS. The NES era, 1983. 19,901,983. R&D1 became heavily involved in creating games for the Famicom, NES, including Balloon Fight and Clu Clu Land. 1986, the team developed Metroid, one of the most influential games of the era, known for its dark atmosphere and non-linear gameplay. 1988, R&D1 developed Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. This was the first Mario game on a handheld device and helped establish the Game Boy as a successful platform. 1989, Gunpei Yokoi and R&D1 were instrumental in the creation of the Game Boy, Nintendo's first handheld console. It launched with games like Tetris, which Yokoi had licensed for the platform. Game Boy and continued innovation, 1990. 19,951,990. R&D1 continued creating games for both the NES and Game Boy, focusing on titles like Dr. Mario and Kid Icarus, of Myths and Monsters. 1992, Super Mario Land 2 was developed by R&D1, enhancing the formula of the original and introducing Wario, who would later become a recurring character. 1994, R&D1 introduced Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 for the Game Boy, shifting the focus from Mario to Wario and establishing him as the protagonist of his own series. 1995, the Virtual Boy, a 3D gaming console conceived by Yokoi and R&D1, was released. Despite its innovative design, it was a commercial failure, leading to a period of introspection for the team. Transition and Yokoi's departure, 1996. 19,971,996. Following the Virtual Boy's failure, Gunpei Yokoi left Nintendo. R&D1 continued to work on smaller titles, as newer teams like id became Nintendo's primary game developers. 1997, Yokoi tragically passed away in a car accident, ending an era for R&D1. His legacy, however, remained influential in Nintendo's design philosophy. Later years and reorganization, 2020,052,000, R&D1 released Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Color, a continuation of the Wario series, which demonstrated the team's continued focus on unique, handheld gaming experiences. 2001, the Game Boy Advance was released, with R&D1 producing games like Wario Land 4 and Metroid Fusion, which maintained the Metroid franchise's popularity. 2004, R&D1 developed Metroid, Zero Mission, a remake of the original Metroid for the Game Boy Advance, reintroducing the game to a new audience. 2005, Nintendo merged its development teams, and R&D1 was dissolved, with its staff joining Nintendo Software Planning Development, SPD. and Nintendo Entertainment Analysis Development, ed. r&d1's legacy remains prominent, as the team helped establish key franchises, like Metroid and Wario, innovate in handheld gaming, and influenced Nintendo's approach to accessible and innovative hardware. 4. Nintendo R&D4, Research and Development 4, was a division within Nintendo that played a pivotal role in the development of some of the company's most iconic games. Here's an overview of its timeline. 1. 1970s formation and early years. 1972, Nintendo's research development structure was established, and R&D4 was initially formed to explore electronic games and diversify Nintendo's product lines. 1975, Gunpei Yokoi, known for his work on toys and other products, heads R&D1, while Shigeru Miyamoto joins the R&D4 division, setting the foundation for future game development. 2. 1980s A rise with the Famicom/NES. 1983, R&D4, led by Miyamoto, begins working on game concepts for the Famicom, NES. The division became known for its unique approach to game design and experimentation with genres. 1985, R&D4 releases Super Mario Bros., an instant success and groundbreaking platformer that solidified Miyamoto's reputation. 1986, The Legend of Zelda, a landmark title in gaming for its open-world exploration and complex puzzles, is released. 1988, Super Mario Bros. 3 is released, showcasing the technical and creative innovation of R&D4. The game's massive commercial success further elevates the team. 3. 1990s A success with the SNES N64-1990. Super Mario World launches on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, demonstrating R&D4's expertise with new hardware and enhanced graphics. 1991 to 1995, during these years, R&D4 continues developing the Legend of Zelda series with games like The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. 1993, work begins on Super Mario 64, the division's first fully 3D game, setting a new standard for 3D platformers with its 1996 release on the Nintendo 64. 1998, R&D4's work reaches new heights with The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, which becomes one of the highest-rated games of all time. 4. 2000s A reorganization and transformation. 2000, R&D4 develops The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, pushing the Nintendo 64 to its limits and featuring a unique time-based mechanic. 2002, Nintendo restructures its internal divisions, and R&D4 is absorbed into the newly formed Nintendo Entertainment Analysis Development, to centralize and streamline game development. 2006, under the ED banner, the former R&D4 team contributes to the development of The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess and New Super Mario Bros., showcasing its ongoing influence. Legacy and impact. Nintendo R&D4 was instrumental in pioneering gaming genres and setting new standards for quality and creativity. Through its contributions, especially in Mario and Zelda titles, the division laid the groundwork for Nintendo's success and left an enduring legacy within the gaming industry. After its dissolution, the creative spirit and innovation of R&D4 lived on in Nintendo and beyond, influencing titles across future generations. 4.